Welcome to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. We're going to have a Memorial Day edition, all kinds of things to cover. So let's get started. Welcome to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk because what's in my drawers? Because old club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats. And that's how it got started, this stuff that was in our drawers in the golf shop. And that allowed us to have a golf conversation about equipment, fittings, repairs, opinions, you name it. We talked about golf gear. And so far, it's been going across the world. And thank you all for joining us today. First and foremost, I'd like to get this started with it is Memorial Day here in the U.S. And the Memorial Day is basically to commemorate those who paid the ultimate sacrifice in order for us to be able to have these liberties that we can enjoy from day to day. So I'd like to give just a few seconds of silence to those who have fallen in order for us to do what we do today. Okay, so again, thank you for joining along with me on that one. To get things out of the way, just so we can get right to all the meat of it, if you would, subscribe, subscribe. And let me do a little bit of little banner work here. There we go. How about that? Anyway, like and subscribe. Follow us on the other channel on Instagram, Facebook, if you would. It just helps us get more noticed, and it is getting noticed. I'm starting to get all kinds of emails from folks wanting to help me grow bigger all of a sudden. Normally normally they don't start talking to you until you're noticeable. So thank you again for all of that. Again, and we haven't done this one for a while, but we still have a few, just a few. It's really kind of funny. The McGolf divot tools. All right, so it's a jackknife divot tool, and it has a divot or a ball marker, and it's magnetic, here, not here. And then of course that comes out, stays tight pretty good. And then last but not least, that guy. It's a pencil sharpener. I thought that was probably the most classic part of it. So we have the red and we have a gray. Those are the ones that are left. We're doing pretty good. And finally, if you're interested, since it is getting to be barbecue season, if you would, in support of the channel, we have the double X's are all gone, but we do have the XLs, and they are pretty nice. There we go. Pretty nice aprons. You see me on they got the 3 pockets across the bottom. You can see that. There we go. And plenty enough string to get around just about anybody. And an adjustable headband or waistband. So I've got mine on, and I wear mine mowing. It sounds kind of weird, but I wear mine mowing, and it keeps a lot of that grass and all that crap off me. And if necessary, it gives me a pouch to put my phone in. So there you go. All right. Lastly, salute everybody. All righty. So let's get started. A couple of things today. In the PGA Charles Schwab Cup Challenge, apparently Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns got into a playoff, and Sam Burns got the best of him, finishing off with a very long putt. Although you could, if you look at just the scores based on the final round, you figure it'd go his way, because the final round Burns was at a -5, where Scheffler was at a +2. Typically, if you're shooting plus, it's definitely not going to go your way. But in this case was no different. However, the other, I can find it here again. Oh, there it is. The KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship. Now, the reason why I mention that is Steve Alkers, I believe he's an Aussie, shot a -8. Now, why is that so important? He went 16 under, beating Steve Ames, Bernard Longer, KJ Choi, Jimenez, Gordos, Weir, whole bunch of household type names, and he did it using the New Level golf clubs in his bag. He was shooting with some irons, and he's had a very successful year with the irons. Good to him, and good to Eric at New Level for doing that. I think that's fantastic that we're seeing a smaller company have a little bit of success now. So I hope the phones are ringing off the hook for him. All righty, so some of the stuff I didn't put all this in there. We'd made a lot of irons this week. A lot of we got a lot of Callaway irons went out. Did a handful of Mizunos. I mean, we really cranked out some irons. But after saying that, what am I going to show you? A bunch of drivers. So we had a driver. This one using the VRTX. That's again on the Project X platform. It's for club makers, right? There's a red and a blue, and they're right behind me, right here. Red and blue. The blue is for the low launch, and the red is for the high launch. And this gentleman is from West Virginia, and 70s, and we found that the Mizuno Club using that particular shaft, and I believe it's nope, not that one. That particular head right there. I wish I could show you the other side of it. Anyway, that combination got him out to where he wanted to be, and that's a good thing. Had some medical difficulties, so finding a spot for him was or a driver for him was pretty substantial. So that was quite fun. And of course, I don't have this. This was a 3-wood that goes to our own Joe Broderick. He's a listener, a long time guy on here. We put a FX, these guys over here, an FX fairway wood from Acra in there, and it is, if you notice, it's an adjustable 3-wood. So we got the adjustable 3-wood in there, and that was pretty cool. I do that turned out pretty good. I like that one. And last but not least, our friend Chart came back. And Chart is from South Africa, and he brought with him one of those. And he couldn't figure out why he was hooking it. Well, once we took a look at his gear, we found out. Number one, the club was a little bit too long, causing him to swing a little more shallow and shut in the face, and he had a massive hook swing. So he was throwing the club way out but closing the face. And there really wasn't too much that was going to stop it, except for we shortened it up so his path would adjust. And then he started throwing the club out a little bit more. And then we got into the shaft. And we stiffened him up a little bit. And we used the Tour AD from Graphite Design. Now, the Tour AD in this particular instance is just a skosh stiffer than advertised, which is just exactly what he needed. He can bump up against the X Flex range, and so this thing worked for him, and it got him around. So that guy right there, with that guy right there, turns into a weapon that he can actually use now, and throws it out there. So very, very, very cool. All righty, and the last but not least, for another viewer that's on the channel, these guys. Now, I did a video on this one. These are for going to Duluth, Minnesota, and Dambanga, I guess that's what we're calling Dambunga. However, if he's on here, maybe we'll see him. Anyway, we did that. That is loading up even as we speak. That will be ready tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. And it talks about basic club assembly. We're going to talk about basic club assembly. However, we're going to learn a lot about the individual parts as we go. So it's just like most of the boxes to builds that we do, it is about a certain topic, but there's a lot of auxiliary topic that you get to learn a lot about. And I think that's one of them. So very, very good. All right. And before we go, another announcement. Tomorrow is Mrs. McGolf's birthday. Yeah, I'm not allowed to tell you how old or how young, right? But tomorrow's her birthday. So if you guys are on here, wish her a happy birthday. I'm sure she will think that's very, very cool. Now, no, and she will never ever say that she's spoiled, but I will. And so we've been, since last week, we've had a barbecue for Bob and for her. And we had the shish kebabs in a new way of making them, and it was great. And this weekend, we had another barbecue with the daughter in law's mom, whose birthday is like 2 days away from Robin's. And so we made one of those, a pork butt. All right. It was it was quite good. It was very quite good. And we had some, what did we have? We had coleslaw, and we had some what they call fruit salad and uh, potato salad. And I think it was just a real, real easy going day. Just sat back and enjoyed each other's company. It was really, really cool. So not too bad, not too bad at all. And just to show you that she's not spoiled or anything like that, this is what we went out and got today. So some Amish furniture, the cedar furniture with a table, and what you see down there in the corner is a rocking ottoman. So yeah, not spoiled a bit. No. Okay. Oh, all righty. So that's about, fittings. Didn't do too much in the way of fittings this week. We packed up on the weekend as we normally do, but this week has been is going to be light. So what did we accomplish? Well, we had some visits from the folks that the high schoolers and stuff, and they're seeing some success with the new gear, and we like that. Uh, so as far as fitting goes, the big thing in this time around, because we did a lot of driver fittings, and you need to really think about this one, is why you hook or why you slice or why you do one of those two things. And one of them is due to uh, club head path, and the other one's due to club face angle. Okay, and that how it's relative to the path. So we're going to use the club head path face angle, right? So if in a perfect world, if your path was towards the target just that way, and you were 90 degrees and you came straight in and did that, the thing would be dead on straight. Okay. Now, if you turn your path and it goes outward, we're assuming a right-hander, so you put it in a kind of an inside out, but this stays parallel, so you're going to the target. So you're swinging inside out, and you're going straight to the target. You're going to throw the ball is going to want to go out, and it's going to want to turn. Now, how much of that is all relative to the difference in the number. If it's just a small one, it's that nice little bitty draw that everybody likes seeing. However, and that's like a 2 to 3 degrees this way, with this guy being straight. Okay, about like that. Now, what I've been seeing, and the reason why people have been hooking off the planet, or even slicing off the planet, is because the club head path has been extreme. Okay, extreme. So if this was like we were talking before, I'm seeing stuff like this, all right, or stuff like that. And this is staying relatively square to what would have been the original target line. Now, why do we do that? Okay, a couple of reasons why we do that is because you see it on TV. Everybody wants to hit a hook or a draw. Everybody wants to hit a draw because that's the longest way to go. Well, in some cases, right, I would bet real money that if you could ask a pro if they could only hit a shot what off the tee, what would it be? And I would imagine the largest percentage of them would say a pull fade, when it goes straight out and you pull it and then it comes back into center. Why? Because it's more controllable. Okay. It's just more controllable that way. So because the draw turns into a hook and it's awful. And the block turns into a slice, and that too is awful, and we don't like that either. So what do we do how do we prevent some of that? Well, what a lot of it when you get started is, what happens is when you bring the club back, you bring it deep to your inside instead of just bringing it straight back and letting your shoulders rotate. If you bring it back and your shoulders rotate, it automatically happens. Got it? So if you bring it to the inside, then you force this twist instead of just this natural turn, and then you get this inside out thing going on. And then if your path is even off just the slightest bit, it becomes a hook. And if you're parallel, if you end up matching up to that and you're here and this thing goes like that, it turns into a big giant block. And you're like, well, where did that come from? Well, you finally squared up. So you need to, what I found is some of the easiest correction, it doesn't get it all, is for some reason you're taking the club head out from a path or inside, or the dreaded over the top, and it's just a big baseball move. Okay. And in either case, a lot of it can be minimized, but just taking the club straight back. Keep the club face looking at the golf ball, right? Keep that club face looking at the golf ball as much as possible in order to come back. And it tends to square a lot of folks up. Okay, so there's my little soapbox topic for the day. Hopefully we're getting there. Let's go answer some questions. To the top we go. There we go. Matt shot a 72 today. Nice. Loving the heat. Well, that'd be one of us, brother. I am stuck indoors a lot, so I need to actually get out and enjoy some of that weather and probably get away. Anyway, menu. What's on the menu? Well, I saved one more for you. This was the menu for today. Boom. Hot dogs. Not regular hot dogs, but jalapeno cheese hot dogs. And man, were they good. Got them while we were up there in the Amish country. Good night, were they good. Oh, just, some. Now there's a question for you. How do you like your hot dogs? Are you a traditionalist and just throw mustard on it, or you throw a concoction on it? I didn't think I would like much more than the traditional stuff until I ate a Chicago dog. Man, is that thing good. I really like that one. And again, thank you. Thank you for noticing in the service, Matt. I appreciate that. Danny shot a 40 this morning with very difficult windy conditions. You go, man. Good job. All right. Let's see. I see another one here. Mike Pett got back. Oh, hello from Buffalo. Got back from Myrtle Beach. Tough life, Mike. Played at Barefoot, Fazio, and Die. Nice. 79, 77. Now, I've played those. Those are some nice courses. And to pull off that, particularly if you're in the back, that's Mike. Well done. All right. Stopped in North Carolina way home, played Tobacco Road. Woo! Tobacco Road. There you go. Very well done. So my score this week was not very good. At least in compared to what last week was. I shot 84. It was 42-42. But I'm taking away a couple positives in that I had a handful of one putts this time around. And you're like, well, how in the heck are you missing how are you scoring that? Just poor drives, basically. Some poor drives, just not going where they needed to go, and having to play a lot of recovery shots. And that was just all I was doing was taking a bogey and taking my medicine and walking off. I didn't get any doubles, so that was the thing of it. So when you're making that turn, especially Matt can vouch for that one, is that when you shoot like a 42 and you think, good golly, how bad was that? And you're like, oh, so my goals or my head has been retuned now in order to get through it. And the other part was I think I wasn't swinging it nearly as free as I should have been. And so we're going to try a little bit of that next. All right, Charlie, thank you. And thank you for your service too, big boy. All right. Willard, happy Memorial Day to you. Digging on the new logo you got going on there? Yes, they were. There's Dimple Spear. How you doing, buddy? What goodies do you have this week? Well, you saw 'em, man. I think I used up all my thing. I actually did. I told you guys about the square shoes, right? The square shoes. I liked them so well. They had a Father's Day thing where you can get a free set of the sandals, the square sandals, and it's like a $50 deal, and you got another discount off of the shoes. So I went and bought another pair of just like the traditional coloring black in it, but unfortunately it's still processing for some reason. So we'll have to see about that. Sunny V, I'm turning in from the of Portugal. What? Nice. From Portugal. That's a heck of a that Sunny V. That is a heck of a different that that's awesome. That's a heck of a different view than being in Canada, eh? So not bad. Not bad at all. That's pretty cool. Yes, you can use it to sharpen your tees. Bob is my golf partner is a huge fan of that. He takes those long ones and turns them into short ones. There he is. What do you say, man? Hopefully all things good going on. There's X. What's the process when a driver shaft breaks? Where it enters the shaft with no adapter? How easy or difficult is it to get the shaft out of the head? Well, X, it's really not that hard, to be honest with you. Again, with all things, it's not like you just walk into it and it's all that. But so you heat the hosel just like you would in any other shaft pull. You got to loosen the glue, right? You got to heat the glue. I don't have all my heads are way off there. So anyway, if this is the hosel, you heat the hosel right just like you normally would, so that you get the bond to breaking. And then if it's totally cleaned off, what we do is called step drilling. And you get enough, particularly in a driver, there's going to be a hole in there from the graphite shaft. You want to go something just slightly larger than that hole so that you can start removing stuff. You get it all the way down to get it all the way down to the bottom. And this is going to tell you one of two things. One, if you've got a weight in it, and that's just a bummer. But if you have one, the other one is you don't want to go down too far because you'll puncture the bottom of the hosel. Has what's called a hosel plug in it. And all it is a flat metal disc that sits on the bottom and prevents junk from getting down in it. If you puncture it, you just allowed a whole bunch of junk to get into the head, and that starts a whole nother repair. But let's say you didn't. Once you get that first round, then you go and get you something about two sizes up, maybe a size up, and you keep going. You keep applying. And what you're doing is you're applying heat from the inside, and you keep going, and eventually it's going to break. And the rest of the shaft is going to give, and it's going to come out with it. If it doesn't, then you get I believe it's a 5/16. I believe it's a 5/16 drill bit, and that'll go in there, and you can rub it around a little bit. And then what I tend to do, if it doesn't have, I use a Dremel tool with a cylinder that can be a sander, but mine is more of a grinder, has teeth on it, and I'll run it in there, and then I'll just basically just barely get it around, and I'll work it all the way in until I get it all ate up and all the sides of the hosel are cleaned up. Now you might have to do that 2 or 3 times because that stuff can be very tenacious, and then and then it's cleaned out. And you run a hosel brush up in there, and you're done. You're ready to rock and roll. So that's pretty detailed, but that's how it works. Watching from work, Mr. Kent. How are you, sir? I love that pitch marker repair. The apron's pretty snazzy. No problem, bud. No problem. No. No. I have thought about taking it on around when we go do one of those course reviews and just wearing it. That'd have been kind of funny. But I do wear it. This thing has sit. I tell you what, if I've got it, and I don't. So I'm going to tell you this thing. Here's a story on an apron and why I have it on all the time. So I had one with my green logo on it, and I was doing one of the videos, and I was cutting. I was using my gripper knife, and I was cutting some of the bubble wrap away, and I got hooked on some tape, and I pulled it, and when I pulled it, I hooked this, and I put a slice in my apron, and I thought, oh, I just wasted a very expensive golf shirt, and I looked down. no more. So it saved me from having to spend more money, or at least get this one darned until I could get more money. So yeah, it's worth the effort to keep it on. Yeah, if I forget. Listen to you. All right, Duke, what's up? If you would give my if wait a minute, start over. I'll speak English. If I would give you my specs, swing speed, and everything else, could you figure out what shaft worked for best for me? How long would it take to get it back to me in PA? Well, okay, Duke, I got to give you a few qualifiers. Yes, I could probably get very close, right? I could get very close because I've done this for quite some time. I hate sounding like an old guy, but that's the truth of it. And yes, I could get it. If you sent me the head or whatever you needed, if a shaft adapter or something like that, it's just a matter of making sure that I can get the shaft. And into PA from Ohio, it's normally like a day, 2 days tops if you're on the far eastern side. I believe it's a 2 day jaunt from whenever we get it. So somewhere in the neighborhood of, we always say like a week to 10 days. So yeah, send us the specs and we'll see what we can work out. Right? I think that, yeah, I'm right. I'm with you, Kent. I believe that. Well, I haven't talked to Eric in some times, but it's always good to see the little guy get a win, right? And he knows he's a little guy, and good for him. And he, the funny part is that Kent is that Eric is quite the golfer himself. I think he plays to like a -2, or no, no, sorry, I think he plays to like a +2. So yeah, he's got game. So don't let anybody, that little turd, he don't let him try and take any money off of you, because certainly he will. But he's a good guy. I just like the hell out of him. All right, more golf tools is always good, but bought the sh- I bought a shaft profiler, and although it will give me an absolute oofta. So, which one did you get? What shaft profiler did you get? Because if you got a profiler, that means you should be able to get like a very, we'll say a more specific spine find, or EI curve, right? If you get the EI curve, now you can make up your own. You can make up your own system, butt, midsection, tip, and start keeping your own records and seeing what works. And eventually, your records will grow, and you can do something like that. I always thought about those. Pardon me. I always thought about those, and I always end up going back to those the strain gauge ones to see whether or not I want to do that or not. I still haven't convinced myself either. Ah, nice. You finally don't have any soccer to go to, huh? Good for you. And the putting's coming along, Matt. And it's funny that all the things I've been concentrating on worked. All the stuff I wasn't didn't. So I guess I got to even out my time now. All right. He's got an STZ in the bag. It is super hot and goes along and straight. Good for you. They are. They really, really are. And I like the idea that they're adjustable. So the folks over at Mizuno are uh, are doing pretty good. Well, I will say this. I guess I'm allowed to say it. I've had more than one golfer that has gone somewhere to got fit, whatever, and ordered a set of clubs, and they got an 8 week lead time delay. 8 weeks. So can you imagine right now buying a set of clubs, and now we're in May, June, and getting them in July? You better plan. You had better plan. And that's, they're saying that because that's what we are all being told. If and everything is going to be a custom order in order to get through there, and that's how long it's taking. Now, off the rack type stuff, obviously you can go to the store and there you go. Uh, I will consider myself very, very lucky in that, because we finally got accepted as a component person, that my components are picked on a regular basis, which is way, way, way more frequent than 8 weeks. So we're able to keep people in the loop and cut that time frame down. So I like that. I like that a lot. All right. Yeah, she got chairs for her birthday. I got to go do a fitting. I'm trying to figure out where the equality in that is. Oh, I guess I got a chair too. No, those aren't golf ball chairs, Charlie. There's right here. There's the one we were trying to set up. We were trying to set up so that I would actually be sitting in this monstrosity, and I couldn't get it. It is so low. You'd be looking at like it'd be like down here like that, and it just wasn't working. And I just like, oh, we got to move it. I moved it from with this instead of the window because it was blowing out. It was funny. I move away and you can see all the things you wanted to see. I get in there and it's all blown out. So it is what it is. There we go. Look at that. Happy 29th, happy 35th. Haha, you're both lying. Aha. Here we go. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Oh my goodness gracious. Here we go. Happy birthday. All right, Dale. Daryl, thank you for doing that. From Jubilee. Celebrate Old England. Happy birthday for tomorrow. Robin, trust Jim will spoil you properly. It's already been done, Daryl. Already been done. Celebrating Old England. Now, I'd like to learn a little bit more about that. That sounds pretty cool. All right. And now that was it Brendan told us that you guys are no, you're not using masks and everything like that. The planning has begun. The planning has begun. We're gonna make it a romp over there. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Oh, look at here, Diane made it on. Good for you. How you doing, guys? Peter, Myrtle Beach. How you doing, sir? Uh, there we go. Man, all these birthday wishes. We're getting right through it. There you go. That's one way of looking at it. That's certainly one way of looking at it. Ran out of steam today. 3 under after 14. Finished with 3 bogeys. Woo wee. Well, that heat will get to you, Matt. But, oh, wow. All I can say is I actually, my nemesis hole has been the par 3 17th at that Crown Hill, that downhill thing. And, it's 170 and some change to the green, and but it's tee box green, so it's a little shorter. And I drilled an 8 iron, and I just drilled it right in there, and I ended up being about this far from the cup and converted for the birdie. So I'm taking a lot of positive away from a lot of things. So good, 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 good. That's correct. You got 2 chairs, a side tables, an ottoman, less than 1 chair. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. All right. Not all, as far as I understand it, Peter, there are some that are not. Okay. There are some that are not. They've got the very big ones, and they got some with the lofts that are crazy high. Uh, but the rest of them, their long drive stuff, I believe should still be USGA legal. There's nothing because it's about the face length versus face depth is the big thing as far as dimensional properties are concerned. But the only thing they have left is if it didn't pass the CT time. And I can't believe that a crank driver that's made for long drive would even come close to not passing. But they do have some that are not for sure, and they should tell you on there. You are welcome, sir. Steve Bird, how are you? Can you recommend a good golf ball for a high handicapper? Ooh. Well, there's plenty to choose from, Steve. Uh, so, so let's assume. Here, I'll give you my. Uh, I'll give you my golf ball. Pardon me. I'll give you my golf ball spiel that I give everybody in fitting. There's three categories of golf balls. One is the Pro tier. That is the Pro Vs, Chrome Softs, TP5s, B Tours, staff models, the whole nine yards. Everybody's got one, right? And then there's a second tier called the Performance tier. And in that tier, there are two categories. There's the Ultra Soft and the I want to be like the Tour ball. Okay. And basically, what that means is it's a less expensive version. It may not have all the bells and whistles, but it works. And the soft ball is exactly what it sounds like, all the soft ones. So we'll start with that one. Callaway Super Soft, Wilson Duo Pluses, Soft Feels. Bridgestone's got one. They've all got one of the soft variety. In fact, I got one right here. There is the Soft Feels, right? And then you've got for the tour, you got those guys. And you've got those guys. Okay. So, and then the third category is how much can you jam in an onion sack? And we don't play those. Why don't we play them? Because they hurt golf clubs. They're just so hard that they hurt golf clubs. And so basically I tell folks is if you go into a store and you see two boxes taped together, two for the price of one, chances are there's a reason for that, and it's because they hurt golf clubs and don't get them. It's just a survival technique. So and the way you determine those is swing speed and your quality of hit. And so you can have a lower swing speed and still have a tremendously high quality of hit, and where these tour level balls will still work. They'll feel good, they'll perform good, the whole nine yards. You can also have a very high swing speed and a really low quality of hit, and you won't get anything out of a tour ball, and you'll really love the second tier golf ball, the performance tier golf ball. And that's where you should probably go. So, what I would say to you, Steve, is if you're getting started and you're throwing golf balls left and right or something along that lines and you want all the help you can get, there's a handful of golf balls. You'd certainly be in the performance tier because we're going to assume that your quality of hit is not very high. Okay. So there are plenty in that category. So you can get something like Bridgestone E12s or even the E6s. You could get this one would probably be a real winner, right? That guy, the Triad, a real winner, a high MOI golf ball, tries to lower a lot of spin, tries to take a lot of that off. That certainly is, and certainly one to consider. Let me think of another one. Q Stars from Strixon would be another one. The Z Star is the one. Q Star is the next one. There's an ERC from Callaway that does a very good job. Where's another one? Titleist has one. It's not the AVX. That one's just the same price as the other one. There's another one, just the next one below. NXTs, I think, is something along those lines. So something along that line, just if for a guy getting started, trying to figure out whether or not like golf, all those have lots of pluses to them in order to get you around the golf course. All right. We say, Robert, Squares golf shoes you order. I like them. I'm wary of ordering shoes. My feet are on the wider side. Did you order your normal size or one size larger? I wear Strixons now. So, Robert, I wear a size 12, and I normally buy let's just use New Balance. All right. When I go buy New Balance, I get the widest freaking shoe I can possibly get, that 4E. All right. The 4E shoe. That's me in a nutshell. I like the wider shoe. In fact, I got a pair on right now, and I can fit into those, and they fit just right. When I just ordered the size 12 square shoes, and my feet slid in them like they were made for them. So they come naturally wider. Okay. And that's what I bought. And yeah, they have they have a wider toe box, and so that's the reason why they get away with that. So, but they also have so what they also have, Robert, is they have a money back guarantee. So if they don't fit, they'll take them back. All right. Peter made a brisket today, first time, came out great. Hey, nicely done, dude. All right. Plain hot dog, ballpark primes. There you go. So, you know, that when you go to a ballpark, I think that's like a minimum requirement, right? Ballpark dog and a beer, maybe, and because you get them in out of those steamers, nothing's better than that setup. My dad worked in a meat packing factory. The dude cranked out hot dogs like they were nothing, and he brought all kinds of that stuff home, and it was awesome until the day that I went to go buy some of my own, and I was like, I can't eat another damn hot dog to save my life. I bet I went many years before I could eat another hot dog, and the only way I could truly get one down was if it was a ballpark dog. And now it's not a problem. I'm right back to normal. Back to normal. Eating a hot dog. All right. Mustard onion relish. There you go. Sauerkraut does on a kraut dog. Yeah, I'm down with that. Parkland Legends shot a 74. Nice. Parkland Legends. We'll have to check that one out. All right. Some salsa or chili with a strip of mustard. Ooh, there you go. Chili dog and with mustard. You always got to have that one. Yep. There we go. And to you too, sir. That does sound very good. We might have to get into some of that. Got you taken care of, Steve. JC, what do you say? Hot dogs, one of two ways. Ketchup only, two, mustard, chili, cheese, done. Yeah, I'm down with option number 2, bud. I can go with that. Mr. Calvin, added lead tape to my 52. Hated that club for many years. Now I love it for touch shots. Well done, sir. Well done. Glad you like it. Wilson's Tube. Hi from England. Well, thank you for staying up so late. Recently asked you about to fix a bondage in a P30 drive that cracked the neck. Took your advice and found a second hand. Ah, there you go. Well done. I think that's the best way to go, bud, because you're not gonna be able to repair it. It's just no. Well, you could, but the repair would be far more than the cost of of the used driver for sure. Sure. All right. Well done. There's Krister. I've been seeing you on some Instagram stuff. You've been killing it pretty good. Good job for you. JC's sister's on the 6th. Very good. Thank you all for your service and for those who lost their loved ones and gives us the freedom we have today. I'm a prior USN Lieutenant Commander. Well done, sir. The CV-64. Holy moly. Okay. I had a guy come in, was it 2 or 3 days ago, said he was a corpsman. Yes, I know what we call corpsman, but he's a corpsman. He was the Master Chief of the command in one of the commands as a corpsman. That's saying something. You can say you're a Master Chief of the command. That's pretty doggone good. Good for him. I guess there's a tier where you Master Chiefs, Master Chiefs of the command, Master Chief of the Navy. That's pretty impressive. Last week brought a new TaylorMade Stealth Plus 9 driver. Oh boy. Nice. So I want to see if he likes the Cali or not. Hmm. All right. Farm sailor. All right. What's your opinion on playing heavier clubs? Does it help or hurt with control? Jake, it depends, bud. So heavier clubs do have their place. All right. They do have their place. Heavier clubs, if you're a fast tempo or you're a hard drop, that kind of guy, or even a late release or a heavier club can help. You bring it back and you go, hey, I know where my club is. Hey, now I know where to pull down. Hey, I can bring it through and hit it better. Yeah, there's been plenty of examples where folks have hit with heavier swing weighted. Doesn't necessarily have to be a telephone pole kind of heavy, but just going from say a 50-gram shaft to a 60-gram shaft, or a 50 to a 70, or a 95 iron to a 110 or a 105. All those things have shown to be positive, right? Now, if you're somebody that is a smoother guy, slower, your transitions are much more, we'll say, deliberate, right? They're not as pronounced as that. They're a little bit easier to get along with. Then you may not like that, because it'll cause you to do that and open up, or have to throw it around. It just causes a swing fall. So you got to know where you're at. But yeah, it can for sure. All right. There's Cuz. What do you say? How you doing, Teresa? I saw you. Were you on vacation not too long ago? She's now enjoying her retirement life. Good for her. She deserves every bit of it. She's a heck of a good soul. All right. How often should I check loft and line, forged iron, sightless, 620 irons, Vokey wedges? I understand they are cast. So Vokey wedges are A-R-E, are cast, but they're in a soft metal like most of the other ones. They're milled, that kind of thing, right? So check lofts on forged irons. So what I tell folks again is, on forged irons, if you're playing a lot, say 3 or 4 times a week, and you're a ground thump, your nervous habit is to bounce your club off the ground, right? So 3 or 4 times a week hitting golf balls, plus doing 3 or 4 times a week of this, right? That's a lot of club bouncing. And if you're going to do that, I would say I would check the first time that you get them. I would check them in about 3 months, and do it again another 3 months to see if they change, and then go about once every 6 months after that. If you're playing less than that, maybe once a year, maybe. And if you're on cast clubs, I would just double everything. And that's where I would go. Daryl wants to know, what's my opinion on the even flow Riptide counterbalance driver shaft? I am all about counterbalance, Daryl. I like them. So everybody gets all wigged out about counterbalance and that. Well, here we go. Although it's not a counterbalance shaft, but we can use it as a display. So, pardon me. So when you see this, we go counterbalance, and I get this feeling that a lot of people go, oh, there's all this weight just right here, and it's causing this thing to be light. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. Okay. What it is that if you take the whole of this shaft, and you say the balance point sits like right here, we're just going to pick an indiscriminate spot. And what they're going to mean is counterbalance means that balance point moved like this far. And that's what it is. It moved it up maybe an inch or two. And yes, it does. It makes the club head feel a little bit lighter. It puts more weight into the hands, but not this gross amount of weight. It's a subtle change. And for those folks that like a lighter shaft, it's awesome, right? For those who like a heavier shaft, not so much. But yeah, the Riptide's a heck of a shaft, and the counterbalance, if it fits you for that parameter, then yeah, it's all good. Uh-oh, we need to get you better, kiddo. Oh no. Oh no. Do you know what you ordered? I don't want to. Anyway, I have about 4 sitting in a golf bag over here in my shop. If you would have had something, we could have probably taken care of you. I think Duke, hopefully they're doing exactly what they've done in the past, in that they under promise and over deliver. So if it's 8 weeks, maybe it shows up in 6, but hopefully you get yours a little earlier. There you go. Golf Mechanics Profiler. Was hoping to use it to find more actual kick point. Oh, okay. All right. I was just talking to Mondaire. I was wanting to see what he had, if he had any new stuff. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Mike Sloan from West Virginia is back. How are you? Oh, not even close, Charlie. Not even close. That particular hole has absolutely destroyed rounds for me. Uh, and it just, and Matt can attest that the thing's all downhill. The green slopes from front to back. It's big, but oh my goodness gracious, it'll just, and then everything, it's an island in the middle of the trees, and everything just kind of goes like that. So if you're off, and so you're chipping back on. So the play is either to leave it short or put it on the green and stick it. And keep in mind that it's very high altitude versus very low altitude, and you get a club or two out of it, so it's not too bad. Mr. Paul Van Fleet, what do you say, sir? No league tonight. Well, good, relax. And I'm glad to hear that the knee is doing better. I'm super, super duper glad to hear that. Oh, and so from you remind me, Paul, I just got a note from, if you guys get on My Golf Spy, and you can take all that stuff with a grain of salt if you like, but they do testing. I will give them that, and they did the favorite iron, right, and the Wilson Club came in second. They came in second, and against all the other uncomers. And the number one, I got to remember what the first, was the Mizuno 225. And when you see all the pros and cons of it, there's a laundry list of pros, and the one con they said was they didn't like the chrome. Really? Your con is going to be a cosmetic while all the rest of your pros are performance issues. So yeah, I'm digging on that. And it was a close second place too. I mean, it was really very close. So good for them. Another one was in fifth place, was another new level. So yeah, we're starting to see some other ones pop up. Now, again, there's a lot of preferential stuff, and it depends on how they do all this stuff. But it's well worth noting that the D9 Forge is truly working. And there's Chart right there, watching him hit irons. That's my South African friend. He works the summers here now. Not here, but in Ohio here. All right. There's another one, Super Soft Max. There you go. And the Max, they just retooled it, but it's a slightly bigger golf ball, makes it easier to get into the air. So that's a good one. I know it's not your expertise, but what chain stores offer good, best golf lessons? I'm considering Golf Tech. Well, Seymour, the only chain store that I know that offers that is Golf Tech, right? You got Golf Galaxy. I don't know that they do that. You have Dick's. I know they don't do that, at least in ours. And then you have and Golf Tech was a symbiotic relationship with Golf Smith, and we all know what happened with them. So Golf Tech, I don't know how they splintered off, but they are thriving and they are giving lessons. Now, I will say you want to be careful. They'll get you in there, and the first thing they want to do is sell you a golf club. And that's not what you're there for. You're there to get a lesson and get better. Now, that's not true of every place. Everybody's got a horror story. It just as equal as everybody's got a very good story, and that's what I would try and focus on more than the poor ones. All right. Kirkland Signature. There you go. You have to be a Costco person, don't you? But yeah. Best quality golf balls will compete with the big boys, Max Fly Tours, the Encores. I had a Shrek. Trek. I had some Encores. I tried the Elixir. I was not impressed. Uh, the Max Flies get around. Now a lot of these Vice balls, I've been hearing a lot of good with the Vice balls, but unless Encore has changed their component, I didn't get the X1 or the Vero X1, but I tried the Elixir. I did not like it. Now that's just me. Oh, very good. Chrome Soft's an excellent ball. Matter of fact, the Chrome Soft's the #2 ball. Care to comment on what major manufacturer has the tightest build specs to my experience? Well, Bill, I have to think about that one for a bit. My experience, man, I just can't. That last little bit, right? It won't go away. My experience for me, and when I ask for things to get built, has been Callaway. All right, it has been Callaway. Now, that's because they're not in the, when I order, I always order something offline or out of the way, so it has to go down a different line to get built. And I know those folks, and they do a very good job. So far, they've been dead solid on, and I appreciate that from them. They've been very, very good. If you get out there online, they've been beating up Mizuno a little bit here in the past for being off on something like a swing weight. Everything else has been dead solid, just a swing weight. I'd say if you get them all but the swing weight, you're doing that's an excellent job as well. Uh, you'd like to hear the stuff like Titleist is doing it well, but I don't have a lot of information on them. They traditionally have a reputation for high quality. I just can't verify it. You would think that Mizuno does, and we just talked about them. The other ones, like Wilson, surprisingly enough, Wilson does a pretty good job from a stock point of view. But if you're like, hey, you went through a fitting, these are the clubs that you need, you buy them and you order them and they come through us. So far, Callaway's been dead solid on it. Second year playing Maverick irons, having trouble hitting low on the face, bottom 2 grooves. Could offset be causing this? Roger, not to sound like a goofball, but like in everything golf, it depends. Mavericks, if you have basically a stock set, right? And they've been working the stock set. Number one, they tend to like very, very light shafts so they can generate head speed. And you might be finding that the club, just like we were talking earlier about a heavier club, that this one might be just a hair too light and you're flicking. Now, if you're hitting the ball high, even low on the groove, that's possibly what's going on. If you're hitting bullets, then that's a different story altogether. What I would do is I would inch just this much closer to the ball, just a quarter-inch tops, and then try and see what happens. Offset tends to, what offset tends to do is you tend to close the club. When you see it, when you see with that offset, people that don't like it will tend to try and manipulate the club so that they can see the face or not see the face the way that they want to see it, instead of leaving it in the playing position. And when that happens, then stuff like that happens. So to answer your question, the answer is yes, it could. However, there's far easier things out there to check first before going to that. All right. Is the shaft and driver Michael Taylor real deal or made for TaylorMade? Most likely, Krister, is probably made for TaylorMade. A lot of the larger OEMs like the Callaways, TaylorMades, Titleist. Oh, I imagine there's one more out there. Most of those, because they're selling such high volumes of shafts, they get the made fors. Doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's just not the real deal. And no, that's most likely them. Now, I do know for a fact that The smaller companies like Wilson and Mizuno are using the real deals. Oh, okay. Now I know where it's at. Very good. Okay. Nice. Ah, okay. And the short answer, baseball is yes. Club deliveries. Is it the materials? So we've lived through, it's been kind of one or the other, right? And it's not all of them at the same time. When the season first started, the thing that was lacking were golf shafts. To the point, a lot of steel golf shafts just stopped making certain lines of golf shafts altogether to concentrating on making the ones they knew they were going to sell the bulk of. So it was like being on that bell curve, right? They cut off the stuff that was on the small ends on both sides and just concentrated on what was in the middle. And that's a sound business plan when you're talking about getting product out the door. And they've done that, and they really sagged there for a while, and then they've since caught up. Okay, well, while that was going on, a lot of people apparently decided to take into regripping clubs. I will use Golf Pride as an example since they're the biggest, and we had every single model available in droves. Now, in a lot of the MCC and the colors, they're not making them anymore. They've just decided they're not doing it. They're not making it, whatever. And there for a while, the CP2 grips in the, I believe it was the Pro model, and even some in the wraps, some of the sizes, they were 4 to 6 weeks out. Now, again, they're catching up, right? They're the ones that are catching up. And now what we're seeing is maybe on the head side in the smaller companies, uh, that they're the one that they're struggling with that. And so it's like this, it's a game. It's a game of shuffling the the cups upside down on what you're going to get. And but yeah, that is basically what's going on. And then then combine it with the fact that when those pieces parts get to the
I'm leaving.
you're leaving.
I'm leaving.
What?
What? Birthday evening.
Birthday evening. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, Mrs. Golf is off. So anyway, the last part of this baseball is the not only is it that, but when they get all the materials together, that they're finding it's hard to find folks to actually put them together. That's the other part of it, and then put them together well. So everybody's filing that one. So there it is. All right, good. I'm glad you like them, buddy. There's Brendan from Ireland. Thank you for joining us. Marcus likes his Bridgestone golf balls. They are a good golf ball. They're a golf ball company. And the worst part is some of their gear, their particular irons and wedges, are actually very well done. It's just that they don't promote it. They just don't promote it. Ha 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 ha. Look at that. Very good. All right. Had the pleasure of caddying in a group of Butch Harmon. What a gentleman. Love the stories, jokes. Yeah, I imagine Butch by himself. He's a pretty down to earth guy. I like his approach when he was on TV doing that stuff. He's had Ricky Fowler, and he had what was that gal? She was a very popular LPGA. She was one when being good looking was all the rage, and she was rated one of the most sexiest athletes of her time in that era. And he finally hit them both with, "Look, are you going to be a golfer or are you going to be a movie star? You can't do both." And they both, we're seeing it right there. All right. Oh, there you go. Good enough. Thank you. Well, thank you, Al. Thank you very much. We're getting close to the end. Mrs. McGolf's left us, so we got two more here. Yeah, the Tour BX or the BXS, those are not bad. Not bad at all. All right, here we go. Where's the best place online to buy ferrules for Project X tapered shafts for Titleist heads? Are they flat or collared? Thanks again, Al from Dublin. Ooh, Dublin. Uh, so number one, almost everything from Titleist has a collar in it. Okay, and a lot of those places, um, a lot. So anyway, they all have collars. Some are 5/8, some are 3/4. And that's about all you're going to see from Titleist to give them that traditional look. Now, over there in Dublin, we're talking about Ireland and the UK and all that stuff. There is a place, and I believe it's called, is it Diamond Golf or Diamond Tour Golf? It's in England. They're basically the English version of GolfWorks over here, and they have all kinds of stuff. And yes, you can buy it online, but I figured being closer, that would be the way to go. If you and they're good, they are a good bunch of folks. We talk to them sporadically now, but they are truly a good bunch of folks, and I would try them first. If not, then the place that I know they exist is GolfWorks, and you can go to golfworks.com, and they might be able to help you there. All right. Look at that, guys and gals. We got all the way down to the bottom, 636 on the end of a Memorial Day. Again, thank you from around the world. I appreciate all of you guys chiming in. It's very, very cool. I'm glad that you guys are all part of it. The other one is it's Memorial Day. For those in the U.S., take the time, enjoy the rest of the evening, of which we got. I'm going to go talk to Chart for a minute, and maybe I might wash my truck. Relaxation, so to speak. And again, tomorrow the video is gonna drop. It's gonna be on Golf Club Assembly. There's a lot of information in this one, so be sure to give a shout out on that one. I did some testing on some Acra shafts. That'll be coming up shortly after that, and make field putters. So yeah, we've got a lot going on. Again, guys, thank you so very much. See you again next Monday, and as always, let's see your scores go low.